Now at 6 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, a repeat offender in Goliad County is back in custody.
Multiple authorities in Corpus Christi are searching for a 21-year-old college student. What the family has to say.
And the House of Representatives passes the TikTok bill. Michael Cloud's vote this evening.
Quite a bit of cloud cover and warm weather, but guess what, folks? The weekend is not going to be anything like this. It's going to be windy, cooler, and probably wet. We'll be talking about what to expect for this coming weekend coming up in just a moment.
And the East Titans taking on Carroll over at Whataburger Field in Corpus. I'll have that in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia.
A suspect detained almost 2 years ago in Goliad County is back in that county's jail. In June 2022, Joaquin Garcia Hernandez was detained after a bailout in Goliad County. He was deported by Border Patrol before he was served an arrest warrant. Hernandez was extradited back to Goliad County this month after he was arrested in New Jersey. He is held on charges of engaging in organized criminal activity, evading arrest or detention with a vehicle, and criminal mischief. Hernandez is in the Goliad County Jail in lieu of $41,000 bond. He is ineligible for release unless he is deported again. After serving 25 years as a District 30 representative, Republican Jeannie Morrison decided against re-election in this past primary election.
Yeah, the District 30 race has now resulted in a May 28th runoff. This is set between former Jackson County Sheriff A.J. Louderback and former Victoria Mayor Jeff Bouknight. Morrison says she will concentrate on making the transition of the new representative as smooth as possible.
Whenever you have a lot of people that want to run, I mean, normally there is a runoff, and so I'm looking forward to the next couple of months and getting ready for the next successor for my job, and going to be working hard for the next year. So I will still be the state representative till next January.
Representative Morrison has endorsed former Mayor of Victoria, Jeff Bouknight. Today, around 30 people joined Victoria County Sheriff Justin Moore on a tour of the old Victoria Jail in downtown. The bottom floor has some county offices, but the upper floors seem frozen in time and need a lot of work. The debate continues on whether to save the jail as part of the city's history or tear it down to make way for growth. County commissioners will take up the issue in the near future. Now, we have a 15-minute video of the tour at thecrossroadstoday.com, and you can find it on our YouTube channel. Bringing it to your viewer poll this evening, the question is, what do you think should happen to the 1940 jailhouse in downtown Victoria? Preserve it as a historical marker, tear it down, or you're not concerned about it? According to our results, it looks like tear it down takes the lead with 56% of the vote. We want to keep on hearing from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we're going to have an update on 25 News now at 10. And pausing real quick on the news, let's take a look at your weather with Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez.
Thank you very much. We're looking at 76 degrees right about now. Lots of cloud cover, and even though we did get a little bit of sun there in the middle of the day, thing is, we're going to be warm again tomorrow, about 80 degrees, and then the weekend it's going to be very different. It looks wet and it looks a little cooler. We'll be talking about that coming up in just a few minutes. Stay tuned.
Mac, thank you. Today, a major move by Congress. A bill passing the House today would ban TikTok if its parent company ByteDance does not sell the app.
Now, lawmakers say there are security concerns with ByteDance's ties to the Chinese government.
The rules are suspended. The bill is passed.
Today, one step closer to a TikTok shutdown.
TikTok is a threat to our national security.
This morning, the House overwhelmingly passing a bill that would ban TikTok if its parent company ByteDance does not sell the app in the next 6 months.
This is not an attempt to ban TikTok. It's an attempt to make TikTok better. Tic-tac-toe, a winner.
The app has about 170 million users in the United States. That's more than half the American population.
I use TikTok a lot.
It kind of just keeps me informed.
It helps me be aware of more activism as well as issues going on in the community.
Lawmakers on Capitol Hill say their issue is not with TikTok. They say they're concerned about ByteDance, a company in China, and its ties to the Chinese government. Lawmakers say ByteDance could share user data with the Chinese government, and China could control what Americans see and do not see on their phones.
TikTok is owned by ByteDance. ByteDance is in China, and when you're in China, you have to do whatever the Chinese Communist Party says you have to do.
A TikTok spokesperson says they have never shared user information with the Chinese government.
This is a Pandora's box. What's to stop Congress or the United States government in the future from forcing the sale of another social media company, claiming that it's protecting Americans' data from foreign adversaries?
The bill now goes to the Senate. If it passes there, it heads to the president to sign into law.
If they pass it, I'll sign it.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says he will review the bill. He has not committed to putting up for a vote just yet. Top Senate intelligence leaders are pushing for a vote citing the national security threats. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
U.S. Representative District 27 Michael Cloud voted for this bill targeting TikTok.
Yeah, now moving to Corpus Christi, authorities continue their week-long search for a missing college student. Investigators say 21-year-old Caleb Harris was last seen on March 4th. They say he disappeared, leaving behind his wallet and keys. Harris did have his phone, but it was turned off. By this morning, 3 agencies have worked together to find the missing man, including the Coast Guard. Harris' family is thankful for all the support they have gotten so far, and his father says he's hopeful his son will return home soon. Texas A&M University Corpus Christi held a gathering to support Caleb's family, friends, and classmates. Tuesday night's Uvalde City Council meeting failed to address 2 major items. KSAT reports the City Council did not discuss the resignation of the city police chief and the internal investigation report on the city's police department. Uvalde Police Chief Daniel Rodriguez handed in his resignation earlier on Tuesday. He did not attend the public portion of the meeting. The report cleared officers of any wrongdoing during the Robb Elementary School shooting that killed 19 children and 2 teachers.
A Texas man who lived in an iron lung for most of his life has died. Paul Alexander died Monday at the age of 78. He lived in the iron lung since he survived polio in the 1950s. Despite his disability, he practiced law and became a published author. He quickly rose to fame on social media after sharing what it's like to live in an iron lung. While his specific cause of death is unknown, his social media manager indicated he was recently hospitalized with COVID-19. Victoria home prices rose last year. A Texas Realtors report shows the median price of homes in the Victoria metro area rose 0.4% in 2023. The median home price is now almost $240,000. 780 homes were sold in the Victoria area last year. That was down almost 24% from 2022. And the report shows the availability of homes priced under $300,000 dropped over 21% since 2017.
Here are some of the top headlines you can read in the Port Lavaca Wave. During their weekly meeting on March 6th, the Calhoun County Commissioner's Court created the Emergency Communications Director position to oversee operations of their new combined dispatch center. Plus, a historic cemetery was rediscovered near Magnolia Beach by a member of the Calhoun County Commissioner. You can read these stories and more at theportlavacawave.com.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so when people are on YouTube, they can get Crossroads Today. Yeah. And stay with us. A young boy from Gaza arrives in the U.S. for surgery. Coming up on 25 News now at 6, the organization that made it all happen.
Also ahead, victims are still reeling from the Texas Panhandle wildfires. The aftermath next.
3 Kansas City men are formally charged for their role in illegal firearms trafficking in connection to the fatal mass shooting following a Chiefs NFL championship parade rally last month. Fado Manning, Ronell Williams, and Chalon Groves face multiple federal charges for illegal firearms trafficking and the straw purchasing of firearms. The Kansas City Police Department investigated their involvement in the February 14th shooting, which killed radio DJ Lisa Lopez Galvan and injured more than 20 others.
The federal criminal complaints do not make any allegations that the defendants were among the shooters at Union Station. Rather, the federal charges involve the illegal straw purchases and trafficking of firearms.
Dominic Miller and Lindell Mays each face 4 felony charges in connection to the death of Lisa Lopez Galvan.
Both sides have rested in the trial of the father of the Oxford High School shooter. James Crumley is charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 1 count for each of his son's victims before resting. Wednesday morning, Crumley's defense called the shooter's aunt to the stand. She testified that she did not observe any out of the ordinary behavior in her interactions with James Crumley or his son leading up to the 2021 mass shooting in February. Crumley's wife was found guilty of the same charges. Ethan Crumley is already serving a life sentence with no chance of parole. A sentencing date is set for the film armorer convicted of involuntary manslaughter in the Rust movie set shooting. Hannah Gutierrez-Reed is set to be sentenced on April 15th. A New Mexico jury found her guilty of manslaughter last week in the 2021 shooting that killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins. Actor Alec Baldwin was holding the gun, and Gutierrez-Reed was found responsible for the fact that it did have live ammunition, not blanks. Gutierrez-Reed's attorneys say they plan to appeal the verdict. A teenager from Gaza arrived at a South Carolina hospital to undergo surgery for a fractured leg. 13-year-old Aham Mosalam was flown to Greenville by a nonprofit organization to receive medical treatment for his injured leg. The teenager suffered a fractured leg following an Israeli airstrike in December, which targeted his neighbor's home in Gaza. They say the strike killed several dozen people, and debris from the explosion hit the 13-year-old's leg, leaving him unable to walk.
We're very happy about him getting treated, but we're worried about leaving our family behind. The feeling of leaving our family behind, especially since the situation is so difficult.
The boy's treatment is paid for by the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund, a U.S.-based organization that provides medical aid to children without access to care, regardless of religion.
Panhandle residents are still under threat of wildfires that started more than 2 weeks ago.
And now a Central Texas group is lending a helping hand. It's donating 1,000 bales of hay to wildfire victims.
When I say it's a fire, they have nothing.
People from all over Central Texas are coming together to help those in need in the Texas Panhandle. With wildfires continuing to burn, one group, Operation Cow Chow, has raised more than $14,000. Most of the donations have gone to fuel, as the group has moved more than 950 bales of hay, some as far as from Oklahoma.
Well, we've just been driving a lot and just doing what we can to get them as much hay as possible for right now.
More than 10 trucks have been used in the group's efforts to deliver the donations of hay, which is an essential for farmers in the fire-ravaged area. Monday afternoon, I went to Marlin, where another truck was being sent out to continue the fight.
They reached out to my parents, and we asked if we could donate some hay for them, and we told them yes, of course. You know, we're not going to second choice that or think about it twice. We're going to hop on it.
I think as Christians, we're called to help each other out, and as fellow Texans, we're here to help each other out. But, you know, this isn't just a Texas thing. We've hauled hay into Oklahoma. We hauled hay from where the fire started to where the fire ended at.
The fire in the Panhandle is the largest fire in recorded Texas history.
We hurt too sometimes, and it's nice to know, hey, we can help somebody out in a rough time, and then, you know, they'll return the favor one day, you know, whether it's a prayer or if it's just a thought or something, they'll return the favor.
The Texas A&M Forest Service says at least 70 Texas counties currently have burn bans in place.
The U.S. produced more crude oil last year than any nation ever has. A new Energy Department report shows records were set for total annual production and average monthly production. The nation's oil production reached an average of 12.9 million barrels per day in 2023. The Permian Basin of West Texas is the largest oil-producing region in the country. It accounts for roughly 40% of all U.S. crude oil production. Here's a look at some of the top headlines in the Cuero Record. The DeWitt County Commissioners Court meeting had a full agenda Monday, and the Cuero Chamber of Commerce held a red carpet banquet. Read these stories and more at DeWittCountyToday.com. SpaceX plans to launch its first Starship test of 2024 tomorrow. The launch will be from the company's Starbase site in Boca Chica near Brownsville. This is the third Starship launch test. It could be the most successful launch test of the world's biggest rocket. SpaceX founder and CEO Elon Musk says Starship is designed to be fully and rapidly reusable. It's a breakthrough that Musk thinks will make Mars settlement economically sound. And what's the forecast weather-wise for that launch, Mac?
Well, for the launch, they're going to be okay, except for the thick cloud cover that we're going to have. The thing is, if they're doing it this week, they've got warm weather. If they're doing it next week, well, it's not going to be quite as warm. Gusty winds up to 30 miles an hour for our area this afternoon. Our high temperature did manage to get up to 82 today. We'll be in the 80s again tomorrow, but by Friday we start seeing rain and we see a cooler weekend up ahead. All that coming up in a moment. Well, good afternoon, everyone. We're looking up, obviously, at some warm, windy weather. And of course, all that is because of the storm that's in the Rockies. We're getting all that strong south wind coming in. Now, look at the temperatures. We're going to be in the 80s and then in the 80s for Friday. But then all of a sudden, we start a cool down here. As a matter of fact, by early next week, we may be back to the mid 60s. And it looks like it's going to be damp for the weekend. Overnight, if you're concerned about the fog tomorrow morning, it will be on the spotty side. But there will be some areas that will be dealing with low, limited visibility. So just do be cautious. The good news is that it's going to click through pretty quickly. In fact, it'll burn off by 9 o'clock and we'll be okay for tomorrow. Now, that's a short term. Long term, things get very interesting over the next couple of days as that storm in the Rockies starts moving into our area. The front already moving into the plains. Looks like it'll produce some heavy weather up in North Texas, just basically north of Waco. Austin barely gets into the picture. We're not invited, and that's okay, but it's the same frontal system that's actually bringing us the shower activity. So for today, we have wind advisories along the coastal areas, but all of this, believe it or not, you know, we're talking about the Panhandle. They're under a high fire danger, all this area, basically Kansas down to West Texas, again, because they're getting 40-mile-an-hour winds with dust being reported in the air throughout Lubbock. And all of that caused by this low. Now, this low has the front with it. It's going to start moving across the plains, and as it does, it's going to push that cold front down into our area. That's the heavy weather up north, but for us, it does bring us some shower activity. Sorry, it's on Saturday. Sorry, what else can I say? I'll keep apologizing. The frontal system then drops and stalls just south of us. And then you'd think, okay, it's going to clear up and everything's going to be fine. But no, we've got a fast-moving frontal system rolling down, and that'll be here on Sunday, which will actually continue the cool down, getting us down into the 60s for the early part of next week. Now, high pressure would be good, but it looks like by the computer models that we have some rain opportunity even next week. We'll watch and wait to see how it evolves. Cloudy skies tomorrow in Port Lavaca, getting up to about 79. In Cuero, we're looking for a morning low of about 72, also on the cloudy side, but getting up to about 78. For those of you pretty much all over the crossroads, we're looking at about 78 to 80 degrees on our 7-day forecast, and that'll show you how we expect temperatures to be on the warm side here. Still warm on Friday, but Friday night late probably after sundown. And then into Saturday, got a solid 50% chance of scattered showers around the area, and that will roll all the way into Sunday before the second front actually clears us out. Look at that, in the mid to upper 60s for the early part of next week. That is your 7-day forecast. We want to remind everybody, we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone. We'll toss it back to Karina. Thank you.
Thank you, Mac. And now let's toss it over to Zach Brown, who has your sports.
We have Victoria East highlights, and if you want to pet a gator this Saturday at Riverside, I'll tell you how in sports. The Victoria Gators, who are an area homeschool team, will play 100 innings of baseball over at Riverside Stadium this Saturday. And if you're curious as to who the pitcher for those 100 innings will be, it's that man on the mound, the pitching machine. They plan to be out there for at least 8 hours at Riverside Stadium. The goal, of course, raise funds for their athletics and let the world know they exist. And for their fundraiser, lots of family-filled fun at the ballpark this Saturday as well.
It's going to be awesome. I mean, the Magic's exactly right. Play for, 8 to 12 hours. There's going to be stuff for the kids, going to be stuff for families. They're going to have jumping houses. Alligators are going to be there. You can take your picture, pet an alligator. I mean, it's going to be, I think they're going to have face painting, snacks. Obviously, the boys are going to need a break too, so they'll have to go and grab a bite to eat. We're just going to get to spend a day together, have a big barbecue, cookout, and guess what? You're invited.
The main goal on it, of course, is the fundraiser part of it. The nice thing about it is so it actually turns into an all-day practice in reality. I mean, so the guys are going to see so much batting. They're going to be up to bat so many times, and they're going to be on the field fielding. So it in turn turns out to a really good practice for the guys, and just kind of gets them building up all the way up to our in-season goal of going to the Teo tournament and seeing how well we do there.
Again, that will be Saturday morning at Riverside at about 10 a.m. They plan on being there for about 8 to 12 hours. Over at Whataburger Field in Corpus, Victoria East taking on the Carroll Tigers in some zone crossover action. By the way, Carroll is who knocked East out of the playoffs last year. Very low scoring game, but the Titans able to add to their lead in the 6th inning off the bat of Xavier Ortega, who flies out to left field, sacrifice fly. Titans take a 2-0 lead. Now, check out this defensive highlight. Behind home plate, Kason Coley throws the mask off. What a catch to end the frame. But Carroll says, you have a great pitcher or catcher, so do I. This is a UTSA signee, almost got the double play, but the Titans able to escape that trouble. Now in the 7th, Coley again, blooper to center. It's going to fall in, nearly caught, but the Titans able to add some insurance. It's 3-0, and they get the shutout. 3-0 in 7 innings, maybe getting a little bit of revenge from last year. Got some great news out in Yorktown for some power lifters. The boys advancing to state, 2 of them to be exact, Hunter Hall and Jonathan Guerrero. Guerrero finished 2nd out of 12 lifters in the 132-pound division, missing out on 1st place by only 7 total pounds. And Hunter Hall not only qualified for state, but broke records in the process. He squatted 675, which is a record, benched 450 pounds, which is a record, and deadlifted 535, which was only 30 pounds shy of the record. He finished 1st in the super heavyweight division. The state meet will be March 22nd and 23rd in Abilene. And we also have some schools have some state championship meets today, Refugio and Bloomington. None of them won state, but Refugio's Quetzal Vasquez finishes 5th. Lizette Castillo finishes 10th. That's it for sports. Donna Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Zach. We're back in a moment. A New York lunch monitor is credited with saving a 7-year-old who was choking on a pizza.
Finally tonight, a school lunch monitor in New York helped save a boy's life when the second grader started choking on a slice of pizza at school. Longtime aide Francisco Augello saw 7-year-old Grayson Molina in distress. He had been eating pizza with friends when Augello saw something was not right. She immediately followed the choking instructions posted on a cafeteria wall. This was the first time Augello had actually helped a choking student. His mom tells Grayson to always chew his food, which is always good advice for all of us. It's good for your digestive system, too.
Yeah.
And that's one way to stop from choking. You know, you don't have to be sorry for forecasting rain. You don't, because, you know, there may be some viewers who may still need some rain this
Well,
weekend.
I mean, we all need the rain. I just do my best to get it in the week, during the week, and not on the weekend. But this weekend is not going to be anything like we've had today, and certainly for tomorrow, because by Friday night we pick up a little rain. And it looks like Saturday morning the frontal system will trigger off quite a bit of rain. Could see up to a ½ inch of rain, maybe more. And it'll be damp for Saturday and Sunday, a whole weekend. Oh no! I'm gonna wear a paper bag now. You know.
No,
paper
no,
bag.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So people, they don't know it's me, and they go boo, boo.
Be sure not to put your name on it.
No.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10.